you are your only cheerleader.
Yeah.
Like, no one else is going to do it like you,
Yeah.
and no one else is going to do it for you.
I allow myself to feel that self-doubt because it's the human experience. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna like suppress it or deny it.
I am multitudes, and why can't I put that out there? And because that's how we're judged as women,
Yeah.
you know? We cannot be
Everything.
everything. Hi everyone, I'm Abshi,
I'm Ping.
I'm Aida.
and welcome to the Woke Up Show. So, thank you guys for being here today. Like, I am like so excited to talk to the both of you. Honestly, I've been like stalking you guys on Instagram. You guys just bad bitches, and I love it. And so, like, you know, the topic today, we're talking about being like boss babes, boss bitches, and it's despite we live in 2022 and like everything is so woke and so like modern and feminist and all that, still somehow like being like a boss as a woman can still be seen as like, oh, you know, she's doing that now until she gets married and has kids and then she'll settle down and be a lady. Like, it's still not as socially accepted, I think, as it should be, or it's accepted, but just a little bit, you know, like not quite deeply and truly as it should be. And, you know, even as a woman myself, like watching women like you, just, you know, you stand in your power, you really like, you know, I'm doing this, I'm here, you guys just gotta get used to it. I think it's incredible. It's so inspiring, and it's just, I don't think it should be seen as a form of like small protest, but I think it is. Like, I think anytime a woman is kind of owning their power, owning their sexuality, owning themselves in this way, we're protesting all the bullshit patriarchy that's out there and saying that, like, you know what, we don't really care. So that's just my little intro, but but before we dive in, please introduce yourselves. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay, so sorry, but do we look at the cameras? Or...
Anyway, look at me, look at
me. So when I introduce myself, I look.
You can look there, you can look at me, you can look anywhere.
Okay, I'll look at you.
You can look at me.
There's too many cameras.
So many.
Hi, I'm Aida. I'm a DJ and I'm an entrepreneur.
Oh, nice, nice. So what do you do in the entrepreneurial world?
So I founded a nightlife guide turned app called Goodnight KL.
Oh, it's an app.
Yes, it's turning into an app. We're going to be launching it soon.
Oh my gosh.
And then I founded Wild Ginger recently, which is a wellness website.
Wow.
And other than DJing, I also manage an artist called Little Asian Tiki.
Oh yes, we love her. Wow, that's so cool. So many things within this kind of like social sphere of doing stuff. That's super cool. What about you?
Cool. My name is Ping. I'm one of the co-founders of Powerhouse. If you guys never been to Powerhouse, it is a fitness boutique studio in which we offer both spin and strength. You know, it's basically a place that we built, me and my partners, to just build a stronger community of women and men, you know, to really just not just so much do the workout, but really change the way we view workouts and create a better lifestyle, you know, and also build a stronger social community as well. Build stronger connections with people from different ages, all types. Yeah.
If you haven't been to Powerhouse, you're missing out. That's all I'm gonna say, because it's freaking fun and Ping is amazing.
Thank you.
So before like we dive into the depths of this conversation, like what does it mean to be a boss babe or a boss bitch to you guys?
You want to start or?
I mean, it's quite straightforward, quite simple really, but obviously people look at it differently from a different perspective. And I don't think that, you know, there should be any different from men and women.
Yeah.
You should be a boss regardless whether you are men and women. You know, we should
boss
be
is
equal.
a gender neutral term.
Yeah, I mean, I get it that, you know, this topic is about boss babes, and here we are, we're trying to like, you know, try to stand up for all the women out there who probably, you know, don't have the power or the confidence or anything at all to want to step out of what they who they truly should be, you know, like, and also recognizing your worth, standing up for what your purpose is, you know. So yeah, I think boss babe is someone like who wants to be ambitious, driven, passionate, can be anyone really.
Yeah,
can be anyone. Yeah.
Definitely. It's not like, there's only a finite number of boss bitches in this world. There's everybody can be one. You're just kind of owning that power.
You could be a boss bitch at home too.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Not just in the office.
Yeah. Like for me, it's someone whose success benefits others as well, not just them. So it's not someone who's self-serving, but it's someone who's making like a meaningful contribution to the world. Even at home, like taking care of kids or
Yeah.
you with Powerhouse and you with the Woke Up Show. It's just someone who's making a positive impact to like society.
Yeah, that's like I've never heard anybody like say that when it comes to being like a boss, but it's true. Like it's more than just you. Like I think even in owning your power and standing up and doing the thing, you are already impacting somebody else. Because when I look at these women like you guys on social media, I'm like, yes. Okay. How do I get there? How do I get there? Let's see. How do I own it the way you guys own it? But where do you guys like get your confidence from? Like where do you think it stems from for you? Because I think at the end of the day, like a big thing about owning that boss energy is being confident.
I don't think anyone is naturally confident.
Mm-hmm.
This one I can tell you for sure. I think it stems from, failing. You have to just be able to take risks and be open to just failures. And all those lessons that you've learned will definitely contribute to your journey of self-growth. And the more, you take risks, whether you win or you lose, it's still better than doing nothing at all, right?
Yeah,
so
facts.
you take those wins as great, but you take those losses as a good thing as well, because without those losses, you wouldn't be able to find the confidence to overcome them.
Yeah, because I think if you keep winning, then
You're not going to learn from it.
You're not going to learn. And
No.
you're probably like, you're playing it safe because
Yes.
you can't always win. Like it's just not possible. What about you, Aida? Like where do you feel like that confidence comes for you?
Like you were saying, so what I do is I put myself in situations where I can't back out. Because showing up really is the hardest part.
Yes.
Yes, facts. Like no, because nobody's gonna see you sweat. Like nobody's gonna see that. Like, oh my god, the camera's on. I'm freaking out. Like the camera's on. I'm here. Okay, let's do it.
Because once you're there, like you have no choice but to do it.
Yeah.
So even if I do like, say a DJ set, it doesn't go so well, but like at least I did it. So I feel proud of myself for doing it. And then I become more confident in my abilities as well. Yeah.
Because it's at the end of the day, it's like, just do it.
Yeah,
just do it anyway. Like do it despite thinking that, oh, my last set, like, oh, the crowd didn't like dance as much as I hoped they would. But you know what? Every step, it gets easier and it gets better. Do you guys watch Euphoria?
I love it.
I love it too.
I
It's
love
so
it.
good. Like Maddie on that show, she's like this like, confident babe. And she said something on that show and it just stuck with me. She was like, people don't know if confidence is real or fake.
Yes.
So just put it out there. And I've been like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, yes, Apshi, even if you feel like, you don't look that pretty or whatever's the stupid thought in your head, like just walk with the confidence.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna know that this is like, I don't believe it yet.
Yeah.
Because that's how you kind of start to internalize. And why do you guys think that, how a lot of people, even fellow women, can look at people and not just women, people as being like, oh, this person, she's so up herself. She's so like this, she's like, oh, she just wants to like post pictures of her body. Like, they have all these like negative things to say. And why do you think that this like kind of like radical self-love, like why do people perceive it negatively?
Because for women, like there's so many barriers preventing us from succeeding and being confident. So once we push through that, it's kind of like a breakthrough for other women. They're like, oh my gosh, how did she get there? When, we all face all these inequalities and biases and stuff like that. So, 1 second. I lost my train of thought.
No, it's true. I think sometimes like, I look at somebody being confident and looking amazing, and then it triggers my insecurity because I can't do that. It's mostly I'm jealous you can do it, I can't. So then I'm gonna react in a way that's negative for you. But I think to go as far as to comment and shame you is it's a bit much. Like you can just feel like pissed about it by yourself and then let it go.
It's like an intimidation. Like they see someone doing something that they want to do, but there's something preventing them from doing it themselves. So then they have like jealousy and envy, and that like gets projected on them. Yeah.
What about you, Ping? What do you think about that?
I think it's because most of us women, we tend to compare. I think that's like the biggest problem we have is that we compare all the time, and it's good to compare, but in a different perspective, like if you see someone who looks great or dresses great or, knows how to talk, we should look up to them rather than look down on them. And I always feel that, when people have something to say, especially something negative about someone who's succeeding, it usually stems from their insecurities.
Yeah.
They want to be able to do that, but unfortunately they maybe haven't like reached to that level yet, or maybe they don't want to reach that level. And everything really is a choice. You know, it's like, if you want to be confident, it's a choice.
Just do
you know,
it,
like
yeah.
you could look the way that you look and still be probably 10 times hotter than someone who already is so beautiful. You know, and it comes down to just being super confident about your worth, your body, your identity, you know, and the longer it takes for someone to acknowledge that, the harder it is for them to actually just, how do you call it, like embrace in their confidence.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's just like, there's something I think that's difficult in owning that when I look at you, I want to be like you. I want to be confident like you, because then I have to own that I'm not like that, and I have to kind of realize that, oh, if I say I want this and I don't get it, maybe I'll feel humiliated. Maybe I'll feel mortified. Maybe if I post a selfie, they don't get as many likes as somebody else, and I'm going to feel a little bad about it. But it's kind of like pushing through that. Like those are not the things that matter. Is that if in owning that I want to be confident like you, I want to look good like how you look, and I want to achieve those things. It's not me. I shouldn't feel like humiliated and embarrassed if I don't get there yet. It's a process. It didn't happen overnight for any of us. Like it takes time. And I think that like as we get older, we kind of have that ability to like root ourselves in in that confidence, because I've been thinking about that like a lot. I'm just like, I need to hype myself up. Like I need to be my biggest hype person.
Correct.
Like, and I was telling my friend the other day, we were at a wedding and I walked in, I was like, we're the baddest bitches in this place. Like we look the best in here. And we were just
yes, girl.
and we were just like laughing about it. And I was like, in saying that I am the baddest here, I'm not saying that you're not either. There's space for me to be beautiful and powerful, and space for you to do that as well.
Correct.
And I think that's what a lot of people like that they struggle with. They think that's what you were saying. Like it's a comparison that like, oh my God, like if she's pretty and she's here, therefore I'm less pretty.
Correct. It doesn't work that way. No, not at all.
And it sucks. It sucks that we just like we grew up and that's what people like put into our heads. Like women like are always taught to compete with each other.
It's so sad.
Yeah, and it's like, why the hate, if it comes from men, it's like, okay lah, you know, we're not.
I don't think men compare like that.
I don't think so either. I think they have a whole different
confidence.
They don't really care about these kind of things. They're just like, I own this business. Yeah, okay, cool. What do you do? Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's it. They're very like surface, but it's just that's it.
And I
no
don't
emotion.
And it's like for me it's like so interesting because it's like a completely different way of being raised and growing up and valuing different things that like for some reason in the brotherhood you and I can have the same success and that's fine, but in the sisterhood we have to kind of get there.
Yes.
That's sad, you know, that sucks.
It is.
But I think it also doesn't help, you know, like the way we grew up, you know, we grew up with magazines.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, all these magazines, they always like tell you, how can I look better? You know, 10 ways to like get something or like, you know, all these things. And it's already like kind of embedded in our head. You know, all these pictures, all these ads, they look so perfect. And then we always aspire to want to be like that. And that's why there's always so much comparison. And now that, you know, we have social media, it probably makes it even worse.
Yeah, it definitely makes it way worse.
You know, like we see all these like, I mean, because I'm in the fitness industry, so sometimes when you see like fit women, you're like, God damn, like how do I get there, right? But then like in reality, it's like, do they really love what they do? Are they loving life?
Yeah.
Or is it just because they got to post on social media to look a certain way, a certain type in order for them to like have more sales or like, you know, have more people follow their program and stuff like that. It's like, it's hard to tell. Social media, you know, these days.
It's a whole other thing. Like. It's just like a whole thing as people who try not to compare because we don't want to be compared to and all that. It's like, how do you navigate that and still own your own power and your own energy? Like, we are like already like been on social media for 10 years and I still struggle to understand how to use it in a smart way that I can't imagine, you know, the young kids who are now like 10, 12.
Because you're constantly being fed like everyone else's success.
Yeah.
So you can't help but to feel sometimes, oh, I'm not doing anything with my life. I don't look like this. I don't have this promotion.
Yeah.
You're just constantly seeing everyone else's highlight reels.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know, you live your own behind the scenes. And it's like, why doesn't it look like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like sometimes I'll go and stalk like Kim K and I'm just like, this woman had 4 kids. Like she birthed like kids and she looks this amazing. But I'm like, no, we're different women, and that's
Way
okay.
different,
You know, that's okay.
They've got private PTs. They get like special food cooked by
Yes.
special chef.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like we don't have that life yet.
No, and like
Exactly.
if your job is to look like Kim
That-
K, that's what you will look like. You know,
Yeah.
and your job is to do something else. You have other things going on. And there's like, yes, Kim is a freaking boss. Like I look at her, I'm like, damn girl, like you look amazing. Like what? You're just an incredible woman, and that's great. That doesn't make me feel like less.
No, of
And for some
course.
reason, I feel like with celebrities, it's a little bit easier, but with like peers, it can feel a little bit harder.
Yes, yes.
But how do you guys like deal with your feelings of self-doubt? Like, does it come up often for you, and how do you
It
manage
does,
it?
because I feel like, especially now in this faux empowerment era, people think
Full empowerment. I like that. I like that.
self-confidence is like an island. They think like it's a one-way ticket there. Once you're confident, you'll stay confident.
Yeah.
But like, no matter how confident you are or get, like you're still gonna struggle with self-doubt. It's just how you overcome it, which like differentiates all of us, being more confident or not. So for me, I allow myself to feel that self-doubt because it's the human experience. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like suppress it or deny it. So I let myself feel it, and then I get to a point where I ask myself, why am I feeling this way? And what can I do to overcome it? Like, do I need to prepare myself? Do I need to like, you know, do this workout routine? Do I need to like, you know, I don't know, apply for this job?
Like actually
Yeah.
genuinely feel the emotion, come to the root of it, and
Yeah.
kind of process through it. But so you do feel it.
Yeah,
the,
of course.
the main thing is to feel it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. What about you, Ping?
I think majority of the people do feel anxiety about situations like this, and I think it's completely normal. Everyone has their self-doubts, everyone has their insecurities, but it's more of the narrative, you know, like the narrative that goes on in your head. You get to choose, actually. You get to decide if you want to be negative towards yourself or you want to be positive about it. Yeah, so it's really, for me, I feel it's a decision. Yes, we all experience it, but do we want to consume in it? Do we want to dwell in it? Or do we want to like overcome it and think about something that will help, you know, help overcome this?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like you get like comfortable in feeling like negative about yourself.
Yeah.
You know how that like you can end up
Yeah.
in that space because you're like, oh, if I consistently just doubt myself and feel negative about myself,
just gonna
then
be
every
in
time
that
I
train,
fail,
yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
I was gonna fail anyway.
Yeah.
Like you just create this like self-fulfilling prophecy. And like this is something I've realized lately is that like in this like process, at least for me, because I'm still in the process, you know, feeling like a boss, feeling like a bad bitch, like I'm still getting there, that it's a choice every day.
Yeah, it's a
It's like
choice.
you look in the mirror and you say, you know what, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what I look like, doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm a boss, I'm confident, and you have to choose that every single day. That is so hard.
It is
like,
hard.
I wish I could say I'm confident. Okay, done. For the
That's
rest of
why
my
you
life.
fake it. You show up and you just fake it. You know, you gotta
Yeah.
tell yourself, you gotta hype yourself every single day.
Yeah.
You are your only cheerleader.
Yeah.
Like no one else is gonna do it like you,
Yeah.
and no one else is gonna do it for you.
Yeah,
So
and,
you
and
might as well.
you don't need. I think that what at the end of the day, what it really is that you don't need anybody else to
No,
say it to you.
no.
You already know.
Correct.
You walk into that room and you know that you're gonna do your job and you're gonna do it well
Correct.
because you've rooted yourself in that. Do you feel that people like judge you guys for being like confident and boss energy?
100%.
All the time. All the time. Never a day without
Never a day
anyone
without
judging
it,
you. But
yeah.
I always say this, like if people are talking about you,
You're doing something
you're
right.
Yeah.
doing something.
Oh,
You're doing
yeah.
something. Or you made it. You're making it somehow. Because if they're not talking about you, you're not doing enough.
That's what Beyonce said.
know?
You that bitch when you're causing all this conversation.
I mean, you can't always have great comments or opinions about you all the time. There will definitely have setbacks.
Yeah.
There will be
yeah.
challenges from day to day. But it's just like how it's like every day is a journey. You take it step at a time. No one's perfect. Like
Yeah.
no one is perfect, and the faster you accept it, the easier it is for you to just go through it one day at a time.
But would you say for you it was like, did you be able to quickly kind of like, okay, these people are judging me, I need to let it go, or was it like, did it take time?
I think it's normal for people to judge. I can't say that I don't and I do, because it's just how you view it. But whether or not you want to be part of that, like you can judge, but if you want to be able to keep the opinions to yourself, even better, right? But if you want to say something, it better be constructive.
Yeah.
It better be constructive, not something that will put someone down. You know, because everyone gets judged constantly.
Mhm.
And for me, as long as I know my worth and I know what I'm here for, and I know that I'm not intentionally trying to hurt anybody,
Yeah.
and you don't have to seek validation from others as well. And I think most importantly is about being authentic. If you're authentic and if you can be vulnerable to yourself, to everyone around you, I feel like you can definitely build stronger connections with people, and they might understand you better actually.
And vulnerability is strength always.
Yes, correct.
Always.
But people see it as a weakness, like, oh my God, what if they like think like of me this way?
What if they really
What if they
see
say
me?
this? Yeah, but I'm just like, honey, we're all human. Like it's normal. We've all been through breakups. We've all been through all the hard shit. You know, like, so what? It's
We're
okay.
here just trying to do this
We're just
together,
here, just trying to live life. We're living life, honey. Like that's what we're doing.
So we're trying to, but this Miss Rona keeps
Miss Rona,
blocking us.
But what about you, Aida? Do you feel like that judgment, like did it take time for you to kind of like be able to feel like, you know, I just let that sit there and I'm here, and did you internalize it prior?
To be honest, I never really did. I understood it was a projection because we have to like accept that we do live in a collectivist culture here in Malaysia. It is more conservative. So of course, when they see women being, you know, more outspoken and more assertive and out there, to them, what they've known their entire life is that that's wrong. Like women should not be doing that. So that when they attack me for that, obviously it is offensive. But like I understand where they're coming from. I understand like their upbringing. I understand what is ingrained in them.
You show them the empathy that they don't show you.
So I just don't let it affect me. I just try to be more understanding. Like even if someone does have, you know, a comment that's not constructive, again, I just take it.
Mean sometimes.
They're projecting, so it doesn't really like affect me.
Yeah, because you know that the people who know you and the people that really matter, like they know that none of that is even real at all. So when you guys were growing up, right, did your parents kind of like expect you to be like, you know, a good wife and get married and have kids and, you know, do the thing, or did they kind of like aid you in this process?
Which Asian parent doesn't think that way? Which Asian parent is not controlling of your life or your growth, you know, in general? No, I can't say I was the same person as I was 10, 20 years ago. I think every year we change. Definitely. And as you grow older as well, you know, women, we tend to figure out what we really want. Eventually, maybe not for everyone yet. And it's okay. You don't have to know everything just yet, you know, but one at a time. No, my parents probably wanted me to be a really good girl, you know, probably married by like 25, you know, have family, have kids, but I think I was a little bit more ambitious than that. Yeah, you know, and I told myself like, yeah, okay, you know, maybe down the road that would be in the plans, but for now, if that's something that I want to do, that's for myself. Yeah. And for me to be able to create, you know, I don't know. I don't even want to say legacy.
It is a legacy.
Not really. I don't want to say legacy, but you know, but at least leave
leave
a strong impact, you know, on people around as well.
Even if it's just one person that you really impacted, that's you doing something.
Yeah. I think that would be enough for me because at least I know that I'm doing something for me and for everyone else as well. Yeah.
What about you, Aida?
So I actually come from a very matriarchal family.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's all girls.
Ooh.
Yes, and my mom is like the main breadwinner, and both my grandmas were career women as well. So this was like naturally the norm for me, this path, you know, being independent. Like my parents have actually never asked me when am I getting married and stuff like that. So it was normal to me until I grew up and I noticed that I lived in this really tiny bubble. Yeah. And I started experiencing all these, you know, inequalities and biases myself and seeing other women being put through it. And then that's when I understood, like, okay, you know, it is actually really unfair out there, even though we're in like 2022, we're still struggling. So I do understand why other women aren't as confident. And I've experienced that myself as well.
Yeah, I think it's also like, you know, you're being valued for so long as like, you know, you can have a career, but your career shouldn't be like too much, because when you get married, you have to let that go, and you have to be a good wife, and it's just like, it's a whole, like, it's mind-boggling, because like, yes, you must have a career and you must have a degree, but somehow you must have all these brains and this intelligence and this capability, but then you have to give that up to have children. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that there's a lot of strength in, you know, being a mother and being a parent and doing that, but it's why is it feels like it has to be a choice? Like, the way working moms get judged versus the way like working dads, it's like a dad can show up for like one like recital or something. Oh, what a good dad, you know, he came, he's there. But the mom who's there at every single rehearsal, every single day, and also working and also being part of it, like she's doing her job.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Why isn't there a balance?
Why aren't women given that space to, like, you can be like, it's that, what it is, I think, is the being multifaceted. I think that's what people struggle to see, is that like, even for me, like with social media, sometimes I'll post stuff like which is just like a thirst trap, and my mom will be like, "Don't post that, you know, you're on the Woke Up Show," and I'm just like, "No, but I am on the Woke Up Show. I also like to do NGO work, but I am also a bad bitch, and I want to post these pictures. So why can't I be? I am multitudes, and why can't I put that out there? And because that's how we're judged as women, you know, we cannot be
everything,
and they're wrong."
For sure.
They just wrong.
For sure.
Yeah, and do you guys ever feel like that in that sense that, like, you know, you like Ping, like you're a business owner and you're in fitness, and if you ever post something that, you know, a sexy pic or whatever, that you feel like, oh, somebody's gonna judge me, you're not gonna take me as seriously as a business owner?
I do think about that sometimes, because obviously being in fitness, everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't be going out, you shouldn't be drinking. I'm like, why not? Just because I'm in this industry and I own a business that's surrounded by fitness doesn't mean that I can't also live my other life.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
like,
all balance.
It's all balance. Exactly. Like, I want to have
like,
to find my own happiness as well.
Like, I'm gonna make it to the 9 a.m. spin class, but I'm gonna be a little hungover.
It's hard, because people always think that, you know, how they see you, it's like, oh, you should be a certain way, you know, because you're a role model. You know, I'm like, yes, we can be a role model in some sense, but does it mean that I can't do all these other things as well? Like, I'm also human too. Like, I get to try things. I get to, you know, experience different things every now and then. My job is not just only my life. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at like someone like Elon Musk, for example, like he is so respected in sport, but he does a lot of like nonsense on Twitter, like something with his stocks putting it as like 420, like all these like stupid things, but that nobody takes away from that he's a great businessman and he does this great, because whatever else he does is he's fun. But if somebody like Kim Kardashian, for example, she is a great businesswoman, like it or not, whether you hate her or love her, she's built an empire, and she's done that with obviously the help from her family, but all these women. But just because now, like, oh, now she's Kanye's ex, and that's all she is, and she's a mom, and people just judge her, oh, she's always naked. Okay, now let her be naked. Look, her body is amazing. We all like looking at it.
It has like nothing to do with like our intelligence, yet it's like people think that what you wear and how you present yourself is like what's inside here.
Exactly.
But there's no like relevance at all.
No.
It's not connected. And I think that's also what I like about the two of you, is that when I see at least your presence on social media, I see like a full person, you know, a person who you know, you have your DJ career, you do Goodnight KL, you do, what's the name of your
Wild Ginger.
Wild Ginger as well. You do all of this together, and it's different. Everything, all of it is a little bit different. But you're also you, and you post content with your boyfriend, and you're friendly, and you're fun. Like, you have it all going on, and that's likable. And like with you, Ping, like the partying and all of them, like, yes, this is like, she's a real person. Like, she goes and she eats good food, and she hangs out with her family, but she also owns this business, works out all the time, and there's layers to you that makes you real. It's not, you're just going to be like this,
robot.
A robot.
Yeah. And you only look at something one dimension.
Yeah.
Isn't that boring? Isn't that more boring?
Yeah.
So if you only look at it one dimension, then what are people going to say?
But I think people
say about you after that.
Exactly. And I think with women specifically, they like to put them into categories.
Yes.
Like, you know, she's this kind of girl and she's this kind of girl, but we're every woman, you know? But, you know, kind of like throughout your life, like from you know, you said you like grew up in a matriarchal family and things like that. How did it kind of evolve for you to come to this space now, where how you're feeling, owning this boss energy? Like, it was just innate?
I guess, yes, it was the norm for me. And then I grew up and experienced the real world and got a bit knocked off. But yeah, now I'm back to a space where I'm just doing what makes me happy. Because especially as...
Was there like a point where you're like, you know what, that's my decision?
Well, actually recently when I started DJing, because it's such a male-dominated industry, it started to like affect me a lot because I wanted the guys to take me seriously. And for these guys to take you seriously, it's like, you don't dress like this, you don't wear makeup, you look down while you play, you're serious. Because you open any video of females DJing, all the comments, fake DJing, she's not doing this, she's wearing too much makeup, like all these irrelevant things. So I was trying so hard to avoid that. But then,
it's like you can DJ while looking this damn good. Like, I'm sorry if the male DJs can't put in effort for that.
And to have fun, because they look miserable sometimes the way they DJ and stuff. So yeah, I just got to the point where I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to go out there and have fun because it's a fun thing. Like, I'm not going to let trying to fit in with the guys, like, affect me any further.
Yeah. That's amazing. What about you, Ping? Was there like a moment that you kind of was like, you know what? Who cares? I'm doing my thing. Like, that's... Or was it just kind of always there for you?
No, I don't think that this was what I wanted to do from when I was young. I mean, I don't think I planned any of this. Like, nothing is ever planned. You know, sometimes you go through life, and when you get opportunities thrown at you, you either take it or you don't, right? And when you do take it, you might as well go all the way, right? So obviously for me, fitness wasn't something that I thought I would want to get into. I mean, I've been in fitness my whole life, but business-wise, probably not. But it's because I started spinning, and I think that's where I also found like myself as a person and how I can, you know, impact others around me about, you know, certain things we all go through in life. You know, sometimes when you come for a class, we talk about quite soulful things, relatable mostly, but, you know, just to share with people, you know, like you and I, we've probably been through some of the same things, you know, and it's okay to share it. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to go through it, you know. But no, I can't say that this was part of the plan. Definitely not. But I know for sure that it is something that I'm truly happy about. And I'm very passionate about. So yeah, definitely not part of the plan.
Not part of the plan.
Not part of the plan.
Was there a certain moment when you just knew like this is it, this is my life? That's when you started spinning and
probably a few years ago I was like, yo, this is freaking fun. And I love how, you know, like when you do teach a class, and you know, sometimes after class people do come up after to talk to you, and they're like, oh my god, do you know that point when you mentioned this, I'm going through it too. I'm like, yeah, how do you know how I feel? And I'm like, because I'm pretty sure we're not alone in this, you know. Like somewhere, somehow we've all are experiencing it or have experienced it. Just remember, you're not alone. And that's why, you know, we're here in this together. You know, if we can help someone, even if it's just one person, just do it.
Yeah. I think it's like all about connection, and people really just want to feel seen. More than anything else. It's like when you say something that resonates, I'm like, oh my god, she sees me, she feels me.
Yes, correct. Exactly that.
You know, so like, do you guys ever get like people negatively calling you guys a bitch?
Of course.
Yes.
Because, you know, we were saying earlier, like, you know, when a man is assertive and confident and I'm doing this and I'm this big CEO, blah, blah, it's like he's a businessman, you know, he's got it. But when women come in with that attitude, like, I've seen so many, like, been in situations where the women are holding themselves and they're like, yeah, I own this business. They're not being cocky, they're just being confident. And you can see the people are just like, you know, she's a bitch. And like, why?
I mean, women have been like made to be submissive since like the start of time.
True.
You know, so we're expected to be like polite and soft-spoken, but like, fuck that.
Go ahead.
I think it's how someone views you, right? I've been told that I have an RBF, but it's not intentional. It's not intentional.
It's a resting
really
face.
Not. You know, it's just like sometimes when I'm just trying to speak, they're like, oh my gosh, she has a resting bitch face. She definitely is a bitch. I'm like, oh but I'm not trying to diminish. Like, I'm really not trying to, you know?
Yeah.
And once people get to know you, then suddenly they change. You know, the view about you changes. So really it's about how you come off.
Yeah.
And sometimes no one, or we should try to practice less, and it does to judge someone so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that judgment onto women for being strong.
Yes.
It's like, even so, what if you have a bitch face? You might be thinking about all the business things you're doing. You got shit going on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like they just that societal perception that like, why do we have to like categorize women like that? Like, why is the word bitch in place for confidence?
Yes.
Like, that is those words, they don't mean the same thing, and they're not coming from the same space when someone is saying that to you, or, you know, speaking to you in a way where they kind of want to put you down, like they want to put you in your place because she's she's feeling herself a bit too much. Like, I feel like that's so wrong, but I think that like the only way to kind of get past that is keep doing it anyway. Like, you know, keep being strong, keep being a freaking boss. That's it. Like, that's, I think, the only way, right? Do you think there's any other way to mitigate the haters?
I mean, if Rihanna can do it, and she talks about bitch all the time and owning it, Doja Cat can do it, Nicki Minaj can do it. Why can't we do it? I mean, how are we any different?
Yeah.
You know?
But I think like that's the thing, is that like these women, thank God for them, honestly. Like, they're really giving us, like, look at Rihanna, like she's like Fenty and she's an amazing artist and she does that, and then she's with A$AP Rocky, and I'm not jealous, not at all, not even a little bit. And she's gonna be a mom now, but like, it doesn't, like, the fact that she's a mom doesn't take away from the fact that she's like a boss lady and this you know, this incredible businesswoman and person in that space, that I'm glad we have role models like that. Because I think when we were growing up, there weren't people like Rihanna. You know, she's not just a businesswoman, she is everything.
Yeah.
And we can see that and we can respect that. And then we look at men like A$AP Rocky, who's like, okay, look at him supporting his woman and being there for her. Like, he's not, like, even in media, I'm sure you guys have seen so many movies and TV shows where the women are like, you know, they're getting in their career and then the men get insecure and they get upset and they fight with them. Oh my God, my ex-boyfriend was like that. Like, he just didn't like to see me succeeding in a career sense. That it's nice that things have changed. And I mean, I think that's also a lot of fear that women have, is that like, if I focus on my career, that I'm never gonna get to be with someone, because men don't like women who are like this. They like women who are soft, who have like, you know, they have simple jobs, that like, it's just that fear. Is that, did you guys ever feel that fear that, you know, maybe that in the pursuit of being a boss and being a confident businesswoman and doing the thing, that I might lose like those other things?
I've never felt it, because I've always been very picky about guys, like very, very picky. So I'm so lucky to have been with my partner for like 6 years now, and he's so supportive.
But that's good. Then, you know, he's like a self-assured, confident man. You know, he can let you shine and not feel like, try to like, you know, like dim your shine.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why we've also lasted so long, because he was supportive of me as I was like going up in my career. He didn't feel like emasculated or anything. So that's like super important to me.
Super important. But do you feel that way too, Ping?
I think just amongst, like, you know, me and my friends, they are very, very supportive. Even guys as well. You know, they don't feel emasculated by, oh, you know, a friend is like owning it. It's cool. But when it comes to maybe relationships, I would say like it has been quite difficult to find someone who, you know, can appreciate a woman who's independent, you know, who has her own business, who's trying to be successful. I think a lot of men don't really want that. Maybe in Asia, but apparently it's also everywhere else too.
Everywhere. It's like you need the right kind of person that can see you and lift you up and be there with you, you know, and not, it's like what you're saying, it's like feeling like emasculated by your power. It's just like, obviously they are like not in touch with their masculinity if they feel that way. Yes. But I feel you on that. Sometimes I wonder, like, will I ever meet someone that can accept me in all that I am? Because I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change my power. I'm not going to make myself smaller. No, definitely not for a man.
No, definitely.
But yeah, I think that's that's the challenge, I think, when you kind of pursue this boss vibe and being a confident woman, that not all men are like that.
No.
That's
definitely, yeah.
But some are.
Very
Those
rare.
are the rare
Very
ones.
rare.
The rare ones, yeah. So you consider lucky, very lucky.
But it's super important to have like a supportive partner, because I've even seen my own friends get into relationships and they're doing so well, but then a man comes in and dims their shine, and then they
stifles
yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yeah. It's hard. It's definitely hard, but I'm not like, I don't feel like completely like it's never gonna happen. You know, I feel like they're out there and things are changing, and you know, I think men are becoming like kind of more like confident in themselves and confident and used to looking at women who are like this, you know, because everybody wants a bad bitch until they have one, and then they get so insecure. Another thing that I was reading about when I was just doing a bit of research before this was something called like the confidence gap. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. So it's a theory that like women who are like in high power positions, like in like a corporate job, CEO, CFO, all those positions, that they struggle with confidence. And so like they did this study, and like the women, they said at least half of them felt self-doubt in their position, but the men, less than a third. So like the instance is much higher in women. But on the flip side, they've done studies all over the world, like all over the globe, about the representation of women in companies. And they say that in companies where there are more women, on every measure of profitability and what's the word I'm looking for? Productivity, companies with more women have it higher. So we know, like we can see, the studies have shown if women are there, there's more money, there's more productivity. Yeah. But somehow we are still heavily doubted, not just by others, but also by ourselves. And I thought that was like so, isn't that crazy? Like if you're like, I couldn't imagine like being the CEO of something and you still struggle with that, because I think it's still new. Like it's been years, but it's still new. Do you find that to be true? Like even in your industries, like, you know, with DJing and with fitness, like when you see the people at the top, like that are men or that are other men, do you find that they are like so much more like confident or arrogant maybe?
I was actually writing an article similar to this about how we should stop telling women they have imposter syndrome. Because I personally also thought that I had imposter syndrome, because even with all my achievements, I was like still doubting myself. But then they found out that a lot of workplace cultures are unable to tell the difference between confidence and competence. So women, like we mentioned earlier, they're kind of not encouraged to be confident. So then they're seen as incompetent. But men, they carry themselves a bit too confident sometimes. And that makes them look like they're competent. So they end up getting the jobs because, you know, they're more outspoken, they're putting themselves out there. And then it's not that women aren't interested or can't do it. It's just that they are kind of holding themselves
back. Yeah, we're
back.
kind of unlearning a lot of things, that like in the process of unlearning to kind of like, from being like, I need to be like really like humble, like not even humble, like extremely self-deprecating to, okay, I'm going to be neutral. And then I got to take the step there to where the men are kind of already existing. That's true. It's like confidence doesn't equal competence.
Yeah.
Do you find that is similar like that in the fitness industry, like at the higher levels, that the men are so much more like, you know, like, oh, we do this?
I mean, I guess like most people who see men in fitness, they can come off looking stronger. I mean, we're both built differently. Let's be real about that, you know, when it comes to fitness. But confidence, I think that really just stems from the person itself. Yeah, you know, I mean, like my partners who are also instructors, men and women, I think, you know, like a lot of people would assume, especially customers, they assume, oh, men are much stronger, men are much faster. Like, who said we can't? You know, like, who said we can't? It's just that we're just built differently. You know, like, it's a little bit harder to do it the way that man does it, but there are some ways that men can't do what we do either.
Exactly.
So it's okay, you know, God is fair sometimes, right? God is fair in certain ways. And yeah, I mean, if you look around properly, there aren't that many like male fitness, spinning. Not that many male actually, right? Because it's very rhythmic based, and you know, you have to be a good multitasker. You have to be super coordinated in order to nail this shit, right?
Yeah.
And women usually do it way better, and they learn way faster, and they pick it up like
Quicker.
easier, you know, compared to men. And
But then, you know, if you ask them after class, the girls versus the boys, maybe the girls would say, "No, I think I did okay." They say, "I did so freaking great." Like, I think that's the thing we need to kind of like, at least individually, push to have that confidence too. Because you're probably right. I've been to so many spin classes and the girls are like, "Hey," and the boys are just dying in the back.
yes. But they always come up with that confidence. You know, they
Yeah.
come before the class starts. It's like, yeah, I can do this. You know, it's easy. If I gym every single day or lift weights every single day, I'm gonna nail this shit. And you're like, okay, let's see.
Yeah.
2 minutes in, you're like, oh my god, what did I sign up for? It's like, oh my, and all the girls are like,
All the girls are like
because
feeling
you come in
themselves.
with that strong ass confidence, you know, and it's like. Okay, but you know, you gotta give it props to them
Yeah.
for even making the effort, for
Of
even
course,
trying, you know,
of
because
course.
I do understand it may come off a little bit embarrassing, but it's okay,
Yeah.
you know, like you're trying.
Yeah,
You're
we need to
trying.
laugh at
That's
ourselves.
okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I think my first spin class literally looked like a jellyfish. Like, kind of like lift myself off there. Like, but that's the fun of it, you know?
Yeah,
You
that's
gotta
the fun
laugh.
of it. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we try not to, you know, have inequality in these kind of things.
Yeah, of
And-
course. Because I in all of this conversation, we're not trying to say that men having the boss energy is a bad thing. It's just in relation to women that sometimes that patriarchal perception of women like stifles us in our pursuit of also having the boss energy, because why can't we all have it?
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's where it's unfair. So my last question, final one. So if there's somebody who is watching the show, or you know, or is coming up to you with advice, you know, maybe they're 14, 15, 16, or maybe even in their early 20s, trying to find that space, trying to find their confidence, and what sort of advice would you give them? How can they like step into this power? And you know, like we said, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but what is the steps you would, or a piece of advice that you would give them?
Well, I would just say to remember that self-confidence is a journey. It's not a destination.
Yeah.
So be kind to yourself, be patient, be understanding, because once you develop a better relationship with yourself as you grow older, it'll come much easier to you.
Yeah.
And just don't give up, because it's going to be really, really hard at the start.
Yeah.
But you just got to have to push through that.
Yeah, exactly. It's always hard at the start.
Yeah.
Always. What about you, Ping?
I think we need to acknowledge that life is always going to be a challenge. There are going to be tons of hurdles that everyone will have to go through, whether good or bad, you know, but it is just embracing the process of it all, you know, going through the journey, highs and lows, learning and unlearning, and just going with it. No one expects you to figure it all out, but you will figure it out along the way. And sometimes maybe your decisions might change, and that's fine. But just as long as, you know, you are owning it and appreciating whatever life throws at you, really.
Yeah, totally. I would also just like add on that, like, just don't be afraid to fall on your face. You know, that's part of it. Like, there's no way that like even Beyonce like didn't kind of like have to work at getting to where she is. Like, in the fear of like being a failure, the fear of just like, you know, looking dumb should never stop you from doing what you want to do, because that is being a boss. Is you failed and now you're here.
Yes.
Nobody does that overnight. And also just be resilient, guys. It always gets better. I think like as I slowly get older, I'm just like, not that slowly lah, but I feel like every year feels better. Every year feels more confident. Every year feels like I can look at other people and not compare myself and not put myself down, and it does get better.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, I want to thank you ladies so much. I had the best time ever, feeling the girl power right now.
Thanks for
So
having us.
everybody who's watching, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe and stay warm. Bye.
Bye.